from an informal greeting. Really don't have time to watch, but wanted to say thanks for your work. Still need a way to get you to autograph the book for me. Yeah, I got to work on that. I appreciate the super chat, dog. All right, Ron. Sunbelt played 3 Big 12 teams. Do you know how many wins the Sunbelt got against those Big 12 teams?
No, tell me how many they got.
They got 3, dog.
Oh man.
And
the Sunbelt is my new dad.
Well, I don't know that they're your new dad so much as they're your Omar. All right, so the Sunbelt showed up to your house and robbed you and beat you up, and you don't have nothing to say. Because that's what Arkansas State did to Kansas State. They showed up to Bill Snyder Family Stadium and robbed him of $550,000. Louisiana at Lafayette, the real Raging Cajuns, showed up to Jack Trice Stadium in Ames, Iowa, like they had just been evicted from Nova Scotia, like the Acadians that they were, to rob Iowa State of money they didn't really have to give, $350,000, to catch this 2-touchdown L as the number 23 team in the country. I swear for the Lord, there ain't nobody in this chat that could tell me the starting quarterback for Louisiana Lafayette. And you know what? The dudes at Iowa State probably will never forget it. And then last but not least, taking the place of Pac-12 After Dark, we have Big 12 After Dark. Because I watch Kansas get straight up destroyed by a coastal Gamecock. On some y'all must have forgot. Like, I made the Chanticleer joke on the national radios, and then y'all try to make fun of me because I'm the only person apparently that watched Rockadoodle Do. Look, Rockadoodle has Christopher Plummer in it. Did you know that?
What is with this Rockadoodle propaganda that you're trying to give people?
Because it's a great American television show. It's about using your voice for good. It's got an Elvis impersonating cock. How does that not make you happy?
I dare anybody out there to string more than 3 sentences together about Rockadoodle. Please do.
Look,
you act out here like it's all dogs go to heaven. It ain't.
You got an Uncle Dookie in this show. You got Uncle Dookie. You got the Duke and Ursula need to date. I'm not kidding. The Duke and Ursula need to be about it. Because these numbers that the Duke was giving us are amazing. Like, those organs are awesome. These lyrics are great. I mean, he's the only dude walking around talking about he about to eat everybody that is also just going to serenade you before he eats you. You know, like, my man also got some cold lines. He got some cold lines. And he's a mastermind. Look, I'm here for Rockadoodle. Anyway, the Chanticleers, whooped the Jayhawks so bad. Like, they beat them and then took $200,000 from them. Point here is, the Big 12 paid Sunbelt teams $1.1 million to whoop them, to beat them senseless. Like the movie. Only way worse, because that movie's actually not bad. I don't know. Did you see Senseless?
Negative, sir.
Marlon Wayans? Rip Torn?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Shout out to Steven Smith with the $5 super chat. Appreciate that. All right. I don't know where the Big 12 goes from here. I will say this. The Big 12 played football games on Saturday, which is more than I can say for the Pac-12 and the Big 10. So, if they're going to be out here just spreading the virus, whether you want it or not. So, you just going to get it. Meanwhile, speaking of spreading the virus, I paid $55 for the Missouri State game. I watched all of it. Spencer Rattler's that dude. But what I was more impressed by was Marvin Mims, who I talked to on this show a couple of times. And I want to educate the people about the Marvin Mims. Because the Marvin Mims was going to Stanford. He was going to study mechanical engineering. That's as the best wide receiver in the country, statistically speaking. Marvin Mims broke Jordan Shipley's record for career receiving yards in a high school career with over 5,000. Marvin Mims also owns the national single-season receiving record at 2,629 yards in 12 games. Then he shows up returning punts as a true freshman at Oklahoma, which is not the thing that you normally see true freshmen doing. Now, this is an odd year, but still, Charleston Rambo was back there. And yet, Marvin Mims out here catching passes from the Rattler. And Ron, when I tell you I have all these serpentine jokes ready to go, I mean, it's like I'm out here speaking from the book of Adam. Okay? I got it. I had them rolling. I had people in my mentions talk about, RJ, I'm going to allow all of these. Every last one of them. I'm going to allow them all. Like, yo, man, I've been preparing for this day for 3 years. You must be crazy. Like, Rattler, you got to slither between those offensive linemen. You got to pick up that first down, baby. Hey, look, it's a venomous touch that man has.
So I was, not that I was cold on Spencer Rattler, but the amount of attention that he was getting that were coming through on my social media feeds, I was like, okay, we'll see. It turns out this man is absolutely the truth. And the joke that I don't think is going to come anytime this season, because of how the rest of the Big 12 is playing, is I don't think anybody's going to be able to drop that snake handler joke. No,
but you know what? I have all the snake charmer jokes. I have them ready. I have them. You know what? Just wait till the playoff. Because that's how I go with Oklahoma. You just wait till the playoff. An SEC team or Clemson will show up, and that'll be that. And we'll get all the revival jokes that we need. We'll get all the Appalachia jokes that we need. I have them. They're ready. I saw Leap of Faith. I'm going to rewatch it, make sure I wrote it down correctly. Yeah, man, I'm gonna hit it pretty hard. I'm gonna hit it pretty hard. I'm gonna make sure that we might actually bring the King Cobra jokes out, because that's the other thing about Rattler. So can I drop a little, like, an NFL scout told me on you?
Go for it.
So an NFL scout told me the only thing that he worries about with Rattler is his maturity and his leadership, because everybody saw QB1 Beyond the Lights. And he's cocksure and a bit too arrogant and mean. To which I said to the scout, you can't be a great leader if you've never had your butt kicked. It's just it's not in you. Like, you don't have that humility because you've never been made to have that humility. And for this kid, what's scary is he doesn't really have a lot to do, and yet it feels like he doesn't have a ceiling. Because he has everything that you want right now from a physical standpoint in the NFL.
Absolutely. He has the tools. And right now, I don't think that he's going to be able to get that whooping, because he has people around him who are almost as good as he is. Like, you got Mims out there looking like he's going to be the next great OU wide receiver. I don't see where he gets that comeuppance.
Yeah, well, and that's kind of the odd part about this is nobody questions Trevor Lawrence's ability as a leader, and that dude has lost all of like 7 games in the last 7 years. Like, it's a really interesting thing to pick on. And I think, you're right to pick on it, because he hasn't done the job, not at Oklahoma. And he did get his high school career prematurely ended because he violated a school policy at Pinnacle, where he just wasn't allowed to play football anymore. And all we got was that whatever he did was stupid. Okay? We would love to be able to judge what you think is stupid, but nobody's saying. Now, in that way, it's a really good and well-kept secret, because, like, you have everything from, improper relations to marijuana to cheating. Like, people just don't know. They're throwing stuff against the wall, kind of like with the Big Ten. So I'm interested to see how this goes and see what Riley has to say in the future about Spencer Rattler's ability as a leader, because you'll know another dude that got the leadership thing placed on him was Baker Mayfield. And to that, I want to segue to this. Baker Mayfield's on his 3rd head coach and 3rd offensive coordinator in 3 years. Josh Rosen is on his 3rd team in 3 years. Josh Allen is a slingshot personified, but he's getting better. And then we get Sam Darnold, who either A, has mono, B, continues to see poltergeist, or C, is being gaslit. And then Lamar Jackson is, a synonym for GOAT. I find the 2018 quarterback class to be wild interesting. Even more interesting than the 2017 quarterback class that had Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, and, of course, Mitch Trubisky in it. So, looking at those quarterbacks and looking at what you've seen in college, who's the next Sam Darnold and who's the next Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, I got no answer on that one.
Okay, so
I'm gonna have to see how this season plays out too before I can make a.
Well, that's kind of what's fun about it,
because those two dudes, that's you talking about like the best, or at least not say the. Well, yeah, I guess one of them's the best of the best, and the other one's just real good.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, I don't know that Sam Darnold is real good, but I'm not sure either. I know he's had more opportunities to show that he's real good than Josh Rosen has, but because that was the thing. Like, many people would have said Josh Rosen was the best pro of all the dudes that were available in the 2018 draft. And his Achilles heel has been his arrogance. Like, this dude wanted to commit to Stanford, and then David Shaw pulled the offer after a visit because they just didn't like him. And they're used to Andrew Luck, who's a fallible, who has never done any wrong to anybody and studied architecture. Rosen is a smart dude. He also knows he's a smart dude. He does not pretend to be a smart dude or an unsmart dude. My favorite story about Josh Rosen is him going to Elite 11, which at the time and still is run by Trent Dilfer, and correcting a play in the playbook that they were supposed to run. The particulars of it are lost on me, but it was enough to where Dilfer said, yeah, okay, the play was wrong. The way that he told us the play was wrong is where the problem is. I'm like, well, okay, what did he say? He said, we don't know what we're doing. Maybe that's a little much, maybe. But I don't know that that's enough to stop me from, wanting the kid to have an opportunity to be a starting quarterback, because I ain't got to get along with you. You just got to go do your job well. And yet, Baker's thing was he's going to ride or die for his teammates. His coaches love him, and all of that. And then we get these eggs that he's been laying here over the last 3 years. Again, 3 different. And if you want to count Greg Williams, count Greg Williams. I bet Greg Williams doesn't even count Greg Williams as a head coach for the Cleveland Browns. But,
yeah, I was about to say, if it's your prerogative to say that Baker Mayfield is 3 years in a wash, go for it. But it takes a little bit of consistency to prove that you're good.
Yeah. And more than a little bit, because at this point, Tyrod Taylor is still a better quarterback than Baker Mayfield, which isn't the shade that you think it is, because Tyrod Taylor is a Pro Bowl quarterback. And yet I look at Tyrod and I see a dude that hasn't really got opportunities. And when he did get the opportunity, like I said, he takes somebody to the playoffs. He goes to the Pro Bowl. And what do? They draft Josh Allen. And they ship him out to Cleveland. And now he is supposed to be the stable pony for this dude in L.A. named Justin Herbert, who I didn't believe in last year, didn't believe in the year before last. I wonder, is Josh Rosen going to get another opportunity? Because he's the third dude at Tampa Bay right now behind Blaine Gabbert and, of course, Brady. Which leads me back to this conversation about quarterbacks and how we talk about them, because Cam Newton is quarterback in New England. They won. They're fine. And I bet Josh Daniels was having a lot of fun calling QB powers, QB counter, rolling Cam out, doing all this stuff that he's never had an opportunity to do before. And Julian Edelman still got his catches. So did N'Keal Harry, for that matter. And who's the starting tight end for the New England Patriots? I know, but I know because I looked it up. Do you know?
Oh, absolutely not.
Okay. It's Dalton Keene, right? Coming out of Virginia Tech. He's a rookie. So, they're making it happen. Stephon Gilmore had a pick, so that defense is going to be okay. It's not going to be what it was last year, but I'm here for it. I will ask you that question because I don't know that I have a good answer as to who the next Sam Darnold is or who the next Lamar Jackson is. First, I think I'm going to be able to hit on the Sam Darnold question. I don't think I'm going to be able to hit on the Lamar Jackson question just because Well, Action Jackson is singular. Like, there's Tom Brady and there's Lamar Jackson. Only two dudes to be unanimous MVPs in the history of the league. Cannot stress that enough. Might not ever happen again. It's that rare. Like, not even Patrick Mahomes is a unanimous MVP. What? But white dudes that can't cut it as quarterbacks? Yeah. I'm going to get more opportunities to do that because they're going to keep drafting them. They're going to keep drafting them. I was actually talking to Quincy Avery about this. I said, yo, do you think we should retire dual threat and pro style as labels? Because to me, they mean black quarterback and white quarterback. He's like, yeah.
No, that's what they've meant for the past 30 years.
Yeah. And he didn't want to put it just like that. But he's like, yeah, I mean, put it this way. If you can't make something happen with your feet when the play breaks down, I'm not going to recruit you. Because that's not the NFL. You got to be able to move. The statue quarterback is gone. And I look at Tom Brady and I see a statue. I look at Drew Brees, I see a dude they bring in to throw deep passes now, to telegraph it. Hey, we're bringing Taysom Hill in. Maybe you back off a few steps. Can't imagine that happening for, Cam Newton, who might be one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater's got a job because he can throw a football over the mountains. You know, like, we don't think of Teddy Bridgewater as moving. And then Avery actually made this point. He says, I saw Teddy Bridgewater play wide receiver. I saw him return punts. Okay? Like, he doesn't get that label. But then again, at the next level, is he that dude? Because Norv Turner tried to make him that dude. It didn't go so well. Because that ain't what Teddy does. Teddy ain't out here running those zone reads. And then, that's how Robert Griffin III ends up Robert Griffin III, is he gets torched too. All right, so I want to end by giving you some odds here, and I want you to tell me where the value is in these college football playoff odds. But on the way to that, Gary Patterson recently said that Max Duggan is not cleared to play football, which means that he's down to Matthew Downing, who ain't very good, who's also been out for the last 10 days. They don't have a quarterback at Texas Christian. Though they had Sean Robinson, who's going to start at Missouri this year. They had Justin Rogers, who would have started for UNLV if the Mountain West was playing. And then Matthew Baldwin medically retired. And Gary Patterson, as they say, has always been a quarterback away, but this time he might actually need to be playing Wildcat football.